Year One are my main sponsors. I've bought thousands of dollars worth of items from them over the years, and you can enjoy the same discount I received. Just go to year1.com, and for a limited time you can get up to 20% off most parts by using the promo code TORQUE, T-O-R-Q-U-E. But that discount isn't the only reason you should watch this video. Check out the cool cars at Year One HQ. So when I was in America filming my buddy Sam hard driving his NAS Charger from Lincoln, Nebraska to Las Vegas for the SEMA show, there was nowhere better to go than Year One for his snag list of final parts that he needed to make his car sparkle at SEMA. Year One have been providing movie cars for the Fast and Furious franchise and other Hollywood films for decades, as their head man, Kevin King, explained.
When we built my white and orange Camaro, and it was on 7 covers, and Dale Earnhardt Jr. was in it in commercials, and I mean, the car and the world, everything just took off. And the next thing we knew, we were getting calls from movie studios saying, hey, we're going to be over here filming, can you guys help us out with this? And then more times than not, it was the transportation coordinators. And so a gentleman named Ted Moser with Picture Car Warehouse, who was in charge of all the cars on Too Fast, Too Furious down in Miami, he called out of the blue and said, hey, we've got to build 16 Camaros and 12 Challengers or some crazy ass number like that. And we were like, good grief, you know, this is going to get out of hand. That's a lot of parts.
You may have spotted Year One license plates similar to this one and some of the muscle cars in the Fast and Furious movies. But imagine getting to know the late great Paul Walker on the Fast and Furious set. Well, that's exactly what happened to Kev.
I took my car to the set. We were at Fast and Furious, and he was checking out my Camaro, and he said, I really want to build a car. And I said, well, what do you want to do? And he said, well, I'm thinking I want a Nova, but I want to do the same thing that you did to the Camaro with the Nova. I said, well, that's easy. We'll find a 67 model. And so he was really excited and gung-ho, and he was real impatient. He wanted a car now. And so he bought this 67 Nova and ships it to me here at Year One, and it shows up, and it's like, this thing's been hit by a train, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is a horrible car. I would have never done this. And so I go down to Miami. He looks at me, and he goes, it's bad, isn't it? I said, yeah, it's pretty bad. So we get a big chuckle there. So anyway, I said, don't sweat it, man. I'll find a car. He took delivery of his Nova at the Bristol Motor Speedway, and he flew in, and let me tell you something, as cool as people can be, he was cool quick, and he was cool to the core, and he was a gentleman's gentleman. He was a hell of a dude.
When Year One worked with Burt Reynolds on the TV show Burt Builds a Bandit, Kev befriended another Hollywood icon.
He had a lot of very specific ideas and desires that he wanted the car to look like, as did we. And of course, he's Burt Reynolds, so you kind of had to defer to him. So he wanted to keep all the gold, and he wanted lots of horsepower. And we kind of chuckled about that because it was like, dude, the car didn't have a lot of horsepower in 1977, so it was just a kind of a low-end torque monster. So what we built was a modern 77 version of itself, big 18 by 12 inch wheels and tires, an LS7 with a hot cam, so at about 620 horsepower. And he just looked at the car, and he said, man, it's got just the right amount of gold, and it's just so much more masculine. And we were like, yes, because that's what we were after. We were really trying to say this car for this movie should have been just a manly man car, because that's what Burt Reynolds was to us. He was like the quintessential dude.
As you can see behind Kevin at the reception area, there is a collection of very impressive muscle cars, some of which are Kevin's own, including this amazing Challenger from Fast and Furious, which Sam adored.
one of my favourite cars in the world is obviously Dodge Charger, but the Challenger is just as life-changing, and the pistol grip shifter, and this is very similar to the one from Too Fast, Too Furious, correct?
This is from Too Fast, Too Furious.
No way.
This is the car towards the end of the movie when they ram the Navigator.
Yeah.
This is the car. And this car was actually a gift to me from Ted Moser from Picture Car Warehouse. It showed up one windy afternoon after we finished the movies.
I feel so surreal right now, because this is the one car that I've never seen and never ever thought I'd ever be able to look at.
So this car here is our flagship, if you will. This is a '69 Trans Am. It's a clone car. This is the one that we were talking about. It was a Firebird.
Yep.
And in order to create what was essentially the first year of the Trans Am, Lynn began to find parts that would allow him to turn it into a Trans Am. And '69 being the first year of the Trans Am, hence the name Year One.
Yeah.
And the rubber hit the road right there.
Man, but like the aluminum heads and all the kind of stuff you foresee with muscle cars, you just see all the details in this car that are perfect.
Sam's reaction to that Challenger made me smile. Imagine our surprise when we found that actual Yenko Camaro stunt car that was jumped onto that boat from Too Fast, Too Furious. Amazing! It was actually at the back of the warehouse with some more awesome cars, some awaiting restoration like this Charger, which obviously caught my eye. There were also Year One track cars and Year One NASCARs, but I was more than curious about how they organise themselves, as they are not a small operation by any means.
Here's a great Flowmaster piece. Everything has a location. You're on aisle RA, you're at bin 14, or excuse me, section 14, you're at bin level 4, and you're in bin G. So it's just like a human address. If you put it where it goes and you label it like it's supposed to be labeled, you really can't mess this up.
Yeah, like map coordinates.
Correct.
Right.
Yeah, it's all done just to make it as easy as you can to make sure that the customer gets what he orders. Because the last thing you want to do is have a situation where you send the guy the wrong part. There's nothing worse. Guy takes the time, figures out what he wants, orders it, shows up at the house, he opens the box, he's secretly excited, can't even begin to tell you how excited he is. He goes into his den, sits in his recliner, the light's on, opens the package, and it's wrong. What a letdown.
Yeah.
So you don't want that to happen. We ship to around 40 countries. We offer about 600,000 different SKUs. We stock around 79,000 SKUs. It's an individual part. So when you walk through the warehouse, there's aisle after unique part numbers, and there's around 70,000 of them. So between lug nuts, quarter panels, fenders, air filters, steering wheels, tires, wheels, etc. It's all these different parts that comprise a car, for everything from GMA body to Ford Mustang to, of course, Mopar. So if you need it, pretty much, if it's available, we have it. If we don't, when we're let to know that we don't have it, we find it and we source it and we put it in the book.
And what are the odds of this? In a warehouse the size of about 4 football pitches, Sam found an exhaust by Pipes, one of his main sponsors. You may well have seen Year One pop up on a range of TV shows over the decades. As such, you could say Year One has always helped restorers and enthusiasts update their classic cars with better and more modern equipment. But Year One are evolving, finding more ways to get classics back on the road.
You know, as the evolution of the American car has come online here in the 2000s, with the manufacturers kind of recreating the old muscle car and making new cars look old again, and the engine packages that they have, Year One had to somehow adopt a way to bring old technology into the future. And we did that by taking new technology back into the past. So it's kind of one and the same. It just depends on how you look at it. So we started in 2000 by putting an LS motor in a 69 Camaro. That's been a long time ago. So we were like one of the first ones to ever do that. And it was quite an amazing feat when it was accomplished, and the car just took off like crazy. So from that point forward, more and more of the Edelbrocks and the Hollies, et cetera, started calling, saying, you know, we need to do more of the same in this industry, kind of in some way, shape, or form. It was inevitable that it was going to happen. People want to take modern motors and put them in old cars. What we really wanted to do is to take old cars and put them right on top of new car platforms. That's not quite as easy to do. It requires a ton of work. It's doable, but it never comes out just like you want it to. So we found that it was better to take modern suspension, modern motors, give cars navigation, give them bigger brakes, better air conditioning, make them have the creature comforts of today, but tie it all together in an old school car.
A fine example of that was this beautiful Trans Am that had just been fixed up in the Year One workshop. Kev was kind enough to take us out in this beauty, and we were very grateful he did. Sam and I wanted to stay all day, but we were on a tight schedule. We both got parts we needed, then we headed to Atlanta Airport to get back to Vegas for the SEMA show. But our exposure to muscle cars wasn't over yet, just because we were travelling through the big city. A stunning Supersport Chevelle burbling along the freeway. That certainly made the dull journey to the airport far more interesting. A fitting way to end a fantastic day. Please click on the subscribe button. It's free to do so and helps us build up our audience. Also, please share this video with your friends on social media, and while you are there, please follow us on Twitter, Instagram and Facebook to get new video alerts and extra content. And remember, check out talkamerican.com, and if you'd like, please post a comment underneath this video. We'd really appreciate it. So probably next episode we'll get back to my project. I've got to show you what's been going on. But for now, it's time to say goodbye. Let's talk again soon. Bye-bye.